Hey everyone, in today's video, we are looking at some important updates that could affect your Form I-140 petition. If you have recently filed or are planning to file, you need to pay close attention to this one. Now, you recall that USCIS introduced a new edition of Form I-140, and with it, a lot of petitioners have received rejection due to errors in Part 1 of the form and incorrect fees. Many questions regarding these have been asked in the YouTube channel comment section, and today in this video, I will walk you through how to correctly fill out this part, how to figure out the right payments based on your petition type, avoid the common mistakes. And that's what this video is all about. So towards the end of this video, I will also explain all the petition type and provide a table that summarizes all. So stay tuned to learn more. If you have been finding Prof. Dan tutorials on YouTube channel helpful, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Sharing is caring, so pass the content along to others who might benefit. I would also love to hear your thoughts and questions in the comment section, and be sure to, of course, subscribe so you never miss out on any valuable insights. Also, for all updates and more professional content, make sure to follow St. Daniel's Global LLC on LinkedIn, and your support means everything. So let's get started. Now, about 4 months ago, I released this video, the description you see on the screen presently, how to avoid I-140 rejection or delay. And this particular video touched on part of your EB-2 NIW or EB-1A or Form I-140 application that could cause your petition to be rejected. I would advise, please refer to it, and the links are in the description section of this video. Today's video is more focused, and it's different from this previous one. Now, the very first thing I will explain to you all, which is very important, as people do not know, most people do not know. For example, for self-petitioners, do you also know that you could still pay $0 for the asylum program fee, and you could still pay $300? It all depends on your petition type, how you classify yourself. So today, the very thing I'm going to do on this screen is to explain the different petitioners type and give you certain examples of the category this fall into, including EB1, A, B, or C, or EB2, or the EB-2 NIW as examples. So the first thing is if you are a nonprofit business, institution, or government research organization, what does this really mean? So I'm going to give you an example. So let's say a nonprofit university or a research institution, e.g., let's say like Harvard University, or a government-affiliated research organization like, say, National Institute of Health. If you are filing on behalf of an international researcher, then you fall in this category. And those are people like the EB-1B or the EB-12 for outstanding professor or researcher. Also note that in this same category of petitioner type, EB-2 NIW can still fall there. These are self-petitioners. Again, if you are filing under the category of a non-profit business or organization. The next we're going to look at is if it's a small business or organization employing 25 or fewer full-time employees in the United States. And what's an example of that? Say, for example, a small startup tech company in the US filing, say, an EB-2 petition for an employee with an advanced degree who meets the job qualifications for this position, then you can classify yourself under this category. And in that case, of course, a typical example is the EB-2 1. Recall that the EB-2 is different from the EB-2 NIW. So this is not for self-petitioners. The next thing we look at is, now let's talk about the self-petitioner. Now, a self-petitioner employing 25 or fewer or zero. Now, this has been a part that kind of looked confusing to self-petitioners in the past. And if you watch the previous video, I recall that video, I did explain that even though in the form I-140 Part 1 that refers to this question, under question 5 and 6, that you should consider yourself as employing 25 or fewer or zero. And here is a confirmation again directly from the USCIS source. So truly, when you look at that question, which we're going to look in a bit, it's kind of confusing if you are a self-petitioner. You feel like it should be no to question 5 and 6, but it's not the case. So here is another confirmation. So again, an example of this, in this case, categories could be the EB-2 NIW or the EB-1A extraordinary ability. Either of these two fall under this self-petitioner. And in that case, we're going to see what your response will be in that part 1 of Form I-140 and the fees you have to pay. The last one is now all other petitioners that are not qualified for this reduced asylum fee. And what are the examples? So a large multinational corporation, for example, that is filing an EB-1C petition, let's say for a senior executive or manager to transfer to the US as part of an international transfer, will definitely fall under this category. Another one is the EB-2, which is the one for general advanced degree employees. You fall under this category. So these are the petition type. And so when we go to the next slide, you already understand where do you fall in all of this category. So as you can see on the screen now, it simply means that even if you are self-petitioners, as a self-petitioner for the EB-2 NIW or the EB-1A, you could still fall under 1, 2, 3, that will be the third row or even the first row. And what is the implication of that? That means if you fall in the first row of being a non-profit business, you could still pay nothing for this asylum program fee. But if you cannot prove that and you are filing under a self-petition, as a self-petition, then you have to pay the asylum program fee. So now let's move to the next table. And here is a type of a part of the Form I-140 based on the latest edition, April 1st, 2024. These are 2 key questions you will find in that form of Part 1, page 1 of 7. In the past, or in the comment section, you will see many people asking questions about this. In the past, petitioners, self-petitioners in particular, left these 2 questions blank with no response, and they have had their form rejected and returned back to their mailing address. You must fill it out, and that's why I'm re-explaining this video. So you must provide both the 715 filing fee for the Form I-140 and the correct asylum program fee based on your situation, based on your petition type, which I explained earlier. And so now let's look at it. If you are a nonprofit business or government research organization, in part 1 of that Form I-140, question 5 must be yes. You're going to fill yes. And in that case, your question 6 will either be yes or no, depending on if you employ 25 or fewer employees. Regardless of that, of your response to question 6, be it yes or no, your asylum program fee will be 0. You are fully exempted. And so that means the only filing fee you're going to pay for is that of 715, which is from I-140. And again, so you know, for those of you doing premium processing, that's an optional fee of 2,805 for the Form I-907 is optional. So your total payment you should expect, if you fall under this petitioner type, is $715. Next, let's look at the second petitioner type, which I had earlier explained. As a small business or organization employing 25 or fewer full-time employees in the United States. Again, your part 1 of Form I-140, question 5 in that case will be no. It's going to be no because in that case, you are not a nonprofit. And your question 6 will be yes, because you are saying you employ 25 or fewer full-time employee. And in that case, your asylum program fee will still be $300. Bringing your total filing fee to $1,015. Take note, if you check previous videos on how to pay all these payments, I did say you should pay them separately. Don't combine the payments. Check previous videos on that. The next category, whom have always been my major focus videos, is a self-petitioner. So as a self-petitioner, you will still be under the category of employing 25 or fewer or 0, which is what should actually be in this question 6, indicating this 0 as well, so that you are clear that you belong to that category and reduce confusion to petitioners, self-petitioners, I mean. So in your case, question 5 is no, because you are not classifying yourself as non-profit. And question 6 is yes, because it's assumed based on this question here that if you are a self-petitioner, you are employing 25 or fewer or 0 employee in the United States. So in that case, your asylum program fee is $300. Your final fee is still the same, $715, and the total is also $1,015. And the last category is all other petitioners that are not qualified for this reduced fee. Take note, your question 5 is going to be no, your question 6 is no, and in that case, you will pay $600 for this asylum program fee, and your final fee remains the same, bringing your total to $1,315. So take note that the asylum program fee is either $600, $300, or 0, depending on how you answer questions 5 and 6 in part 1 of the Form I-140. These answers determine if you qualify for a reduced fee. If you leave these questions blank, of course, your petition will be rejected. So many petitions have been sent back to applicants simply because they didn't provide the correct information or fees. So avoid that mistake and do the needful. So that will be the end of this video. Thanks for sticking around till this time. Please share the video if you find it so useful. Share it to the right people that might benefit most from it. And of course, you can consult with us and reach out through email or check our website for things that we can assist you with. Wishing you all the best and see you again in another video. Bye-bye.